I'm going to call the Hanover Borough Finance and Personnel Committee meeting to order for June 18th, 2025. So, Solicitor, we will move to acknowledgement of an executive session.
Thank you. Borough Council had an executive session this evening from 5:15 to approximately 5:50 involving the following matters. A employment matter involving a current borough employee, to provide legal advice regarding the conditional use public hearing that we just had under section 708A1, 4, and 5 of the Sunshine Act.
Thank you, sir. We will move to number 3 on your agenda, which is public comment, and we will start with Mr. Holt, please. Might need to turn that on, Mr. Holt.
The ignored orphan third ward that doesn't have a park, while some wards have 2 parks, and we're underrepresented, ignored. We don't get fair police protection. I just think we're pretty much the orphans of the ward. I saw last month that you had planned to have a vote on the 44 Frederick Street project, and you didn't have it. And now we see tonight why. Because it's over the projected budget. You projected to the contractors that you wanted to spend $7 million, and you ended up with $10 million in bids. And even if you rescind $1 million in some of it, you're still over budget. And you've already spent a good part of the money, nearly $4 million on this project here, and the whole presence, the whole reason for doing this whole thing was to improve the police facilities, which now is sitting and waiting and waiting and waiting, and that was the whole concept of it. But instead, we have this, which is a testament of yourselves, to yourselves, a monument to yourselves. And the people can't even walk in the front door when they want to come to a meeting here. I don't know a place, certainly not in Washington, that the people are entitled to walk into the front door of their house. And I just think you really need to think, and you already got a leak in this building, in the roof. So I don't know what happens here. And I think you really need to rethink what you're doing here. Because when this money was given to you, you got $7.5 million. You did 2.5 for police, and then you sat on $5 million for a couple of years, and then went to a rush to get all of this done. It doesn't make sense. And I see that, here we are. The public is out asking for donations for pavilions at the park because you don't have money. But before you've even had any deliberate discussion about what is going to happen with the reservoir properties and what your so-called steering committee's fact findings are, you're already out doing parking lot improvements at the reservoir and putting up signs. You can't even afford to patch the potholes in the streets and repave streets and fix alleys that need to be fixed because the overpaving over the years has resulted in stormwater running into people's garages and backyards. And that brings up another point, and that is, I don't know how you can let people wash their cars in the street, in Railroad Street, from their storefront, and then tell people they can't wash their cars in their driveways because water might run off into the streets, and that's a violation of borough ordinance. It just seems inconsistent and unfair. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you. We'll move on to Sandy Mao, please.
I would like to address number 5.02. Have a conditional objection until such time,
Sandy, can you put the mic a little closer to your mouth, please?
a conditional objection until such time as the court releases its decision. And the reason being, Mr. Hegberg, in this very committee over across the street, about 2.5 years ago, you made the following statement. You threatened to bring legal action against the library, quote unquote. Mr. Riekert, you then questioned him whether or not it was library governance that he was going to file charges against. You do not make those allegations if you don't have criminal activity. So I don't know what the court is hiding.
You can
It
talk,
needs-
but just,
It
We don't
needs
need
to
to yell.
release that decision. And ladies, thank you so much for your hard work over there at the library. It is recognized every single day. It may not be verbalized, but we see you there, especially on book sale days, when you're down there sweating without any air conditioning, having to squeeze yourselves into smaller spaces than you ever had to before, and having to operate and accommodate all these people who are interested in buying books. I tip my hat to you. I don't find fault with you, but I think the monies that you raise should be for the patrons, for books, for magazines, more lectures, not for operational expenses. That should be the borough's responsibility, and I'm waiting to see that court decision. Thank you.
thank you. Okay, community media, if you could help me if there's anyone online.
Those joining us via Zoom, you are now able to unmute yourselves if you would like to address council.
Okay, thank you. We will move on to number 4 in your program, Proclamation. Mr. Riekert?
Whereas Parks and Recreation is an integral part of communities throughout the nation, including the Borough of Hanover, and whereas Parks and Recreation maintains an environment of natural beauty which encourages mental and physical health and wellness, calls on that, through time spent in nature as well as public facilities such as swimming pools, hiking trails, and designated sports areas to encourage an active lifestyle. And whereas Parks and Recreation provides nutritional services, nutritional education, and youth sports, and out-of-school programs encouraging healthy childhood development. And whereas Parks and Recreation promotes time spent in nature, which positively impacts mental health and well-being, helping to alleviate issues such as depression, attention deficit disorders, and Alzheimer's. And whereas Parks and Recreation bolsters local property values, increases tourism to support the local businesses, economies, as well as provides infrastructure to help adapt our community to natural disasters and a changing climate. And whereas Parks and Recreation is fundamental to the environmental well-being of our community, as well as the physical and mental well-being of our community members, and whereas the Borough of Hanover recognizes the benefits derived from Parks and Recreational resources. Now, therefore, it be further resolved, I, Bill Riekert, Council President of the Borough of Hanover, York County, Pennsylvania, I do hereby designate the month of July 2025 as National Parks and Recreation Month, and encourage all Hanover Borough residents to visit your local recreational areas, spend time enjoying nature, and partake in all the Borough Hanover parks have to offer.
Riekert. Moving on to number 5, presentations. I believe 5.01 will be Mr. Shelton, please.
So in your packet, you have a one-pager for the preliminary 2025 loan timeline. The plan right now is to have PFM, our advisor, to send out the RFP to the banks this Friday. Deadline of July 7th for the RFP responses back from the banks. And on the 16th, PFM will attend the Finance Committee meeting to do a presentation on the RFP results to the council. The 23rd, Borough Council meeting will select the winning bank and enact a debt ordinance for the borrowing. And the estimated settlement date of the borrowing is late in August.
Okay.
That's it. I'm sorry, I couldn't. I don't have anything for you right now. No.
We'll get more information as we move through the process.
Correct.
Thank you,
Yep.
Mr. Shelton. Okay, 5.02. The dynamic duo is back up again. Mr. Perkins and Mr. Ricart.
Yep. Barb, if you'd come forward. Barb, and if you'd like any of your friends to come with you, bring them.
Just bring them all up.
Made out to science.
Yes.
Just safe.
Just let everybody know that the Friends has worked very hard this year with our fundraising and all the activities there at the Hanover Library. We raised $101,000, and we decided to do a special donation of $25,000 to the borough for the Memorial Library overhead expenses.
Am I signing that? Thank you. Okay, we will move on as soon as Mr. Ricart's seated. We'll move on to 6, which is consent agenda. I would be looking for a motion for the consent agenda. Do I have a second? Any discussion? Looking to my left, looking to my right. Not seeing any, I'll call the vote. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, Planning Commission. Do we have anybody that wants to speak to this? Pretty cut and dry. Yeah, this is a small property over by the hospital. Pretty cut and dry. So I would be looking for a motion. And a second? Okay, any discussion? Okay, seeing none. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, Department of Water and Resources, right-of-way agreement. This is to put a hydrant out on 646 Blooming Grove Road. This was in our packet also. Obviously a public safety thing. It's great. I'll be looking for a motion. Thank you. Second? Okay. Any discussion? Okay. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, moving on to number 9, public safety. 901, safety barriers. Direct staff to research options for safety barriers. Believe this? Yeah. Yes.
There we go. Thank you. Public Safety has already directed staff to look at the options that we have for barriers.
Correct.
As soon as we have some results, we'll come back and bring that to you. How's that sound?
So we want no motion?
We need no motion for
Okay.
this at this point. Thank
Right. Yeah, we talked about that in the agenda review.
you. Yes, sir.
It's a good thing.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, moving on to 10, 10.01, which is transfer station hauling contract. John, I think you're going to discuss this.
Evening.
Good evening.
So basically, what we have here this evening is asking you to authorize the advertisement for the bids to haul the trash out of the transfer station. It's 4 separate terms. The first one is a little shorter than the other 3 due to getting on schedule with the other municipalities.
Yep. Okay, this was in our packet, so I'll be looking for a motion, please. Thank you. Any discussion? Okay, call the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to 10.02.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
in response to moving testimony during the public comment portion of this evening's meeting, I would like to propose tabling 10.02.
Okay, so you're making a motion to table 10.02?
I am, sir.
Okay, do I have a second? Okay, any discussion? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Report of council members. Does anybody have anything? And on the manager's report, let's talk about Bear Avenue.
Yes. All right, so as you know, we're trying to raise money through council solicitations to put towards the Bear Avenue Park Pavilion. $4,500 in donations so far, a large one coming from the AMVETS. But through Councilman Fuentes' efforts, there was a flash sale at his place of business, and we raised an additional $6,723. So a huge thank you to Councilman Fuentes and his staff for that. So right now,
Thank you, sir.
thank you. And right now, we are at $11,223 raised of the $20,000 estimate for that.
Okay. We appreciate the update.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. More than halfway, Tim.
Yes, ma'am. Correspondence was in our packet. We will move to number 14, which is additional public comment. And we will start with Mr. Holt.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Robert Holt from the ignored Orphan Third Ward, underrepresented. You know, I was at a Public Safety Committee meeting in April, and a gentleman came and he was talking about he needed a handicap parking space in front of his house there on Middle Street. And he got a whole bunch of explanations and rigmarole about why he couldn't have it. How is this parking issue and that traffic line issue? There's always some excuse. But what's amazing, in April 2024, a year earlier, somebody suggested, well, you know, Railroad Street, those businesses have a tough time loading, and they can't seem to get an open space, and there's a loading zone, which now gets used by the brew pubs as free parking and car washing in Railroad Street. So again, there's this inequity and unfairness and an indifference to the citizens. And I think the other issue that irritates me tonight with your agenda is you broke your promise. You broke a promise you made a couple of years ago when you created an interim fundraiser for the library and an interim librarian, and you said we were going to get out of the library business, and the burden of the library wasn't going to be forced primarily on the taxpayers of Hanover when so many other citizens in the region from other municipalities pay nothing and get the benefits. And there's nothing wrong with the library. It's just the onus, the financial onus shouldn't be borne just by the taxpayers of Hanover. Millions of dollars. So, I don't know. It's hard to believe you sometimes when you say things and you pledge us things. There's, you know, this building in 44 Frederick isn't going to cost us any local taxpayer dollars, but you're already over the budget. So, I mean, it's very difficult to believe you when you say these things and then we don't see the results. We don't see the final action. And you're steering us, you're presiding over the what will be the fourth consecutive tax increase for 2026 this year. It almost seems unavoidable with the hirings, the creation of positions you've created. The so-called interim fundraiser for the library has now become a permanent position that can be used anything but for the library. It just seems you're steering us towards a tax increase, and I think a lot of people, including myself, are not going to sit here and be sympathetic when we listen to your hand-wringing about it was unavoidable, because it was unavoidable, but you made decisions that steered us right toward it. That's what you've presided over. And I just think it's just irritating. And one last thing, and I'm going to bring it up again continually, and that is the open container law. And this is the front of a well-known establishment on East Walnut Street, and an apparently intoxicated gentleman sprawled out on the street. This is not my picture. This was posted on the social media. But I think, you know, this so-called fact-finding you did a couple of months ago was really kind of anything but fact-finding. It was just reaffirming your political positions so that you take care of business, but you shirk the responsibilities to protect the public. And that is your first obligation, is to protect the public, to protect the citizens. There's more, but it's a long night. I'm going to let you go. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Sandy Mao? Excuse, 1 second. Yeah, turn it on, please.
At the Board of Governors meeting, I want to make sure that the entire council is aware of those. The first one was with the merger of the library and the recreation department. I think Jim is here. Those monies are going to be kept separate, right? That the monies that are coming into the library will go into the library
Public
fund,
comment.
not into the
Direct to us, it's public comment.
into the general fund. Secondly, there's an issue with the round tables. Please bring back the rectangular tables. Some of the people from the Board of Governors came and checked things out on Thursday, saw how small the area is, and there's not enough room. You have I use the analogy of a pizza. It's carved into 4 slices, and you have one, each one has a computer in it, and it takes up all the area. You have maybe this much area you don't have any room for a legal file, you don't have any room for books, and I don't have any room for a notebook. So please bring back the rectangular tables. So I know that at least 3 of those individuals came up to check it out. On the other request is that we've had all this remodeling, but we would like to see the Wall Street Journal come back, along with Bloomberg, New York Times, the Washington Post, etc. All the things that were taken away as a result of not being able to afford afford the subscriptions. Thank you.
Thank you. Once again, community media, if you could reach out to Never Neverland.
Those joining us via Zoom, you are now able to unmute yourselves if you would like to address council.
Okay, thank you. One quick announcement, just to bring this up in the. Please plan to exit the building within 15 minutes following adjournment, so staff may secure the building and depart for the evening. So I know we like to talk sometimes, and I'm guilty of that, so I'll do better. All right, we move on to number 16, which is adjournment. Be looking
Mr.
for a
Chairman,
motion.
I'd like to make the motion, sir.
Do I have a second? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.